Guys, diversity is killing games. Look at what they did to my boy. Not far enough. Let's go for Master Chief next, please. So andypants Gaming and the Act Man recently debated about wokeness in video games. And it was mostly just really mind-rotting and boring, so I don't have much to say, except for this one part.
I think it's incredibly strange to talk about Concord and not mention the clear woke slop. And you make fun of people who use the word woke, and you never use the word, even though it completely describes what's going on right now in gay games.
So the thing about the word woke is it harkens back to that old story we all read and were taught when we were growing up, the boy who cried wolf. These days, it's the boy who cried woke. There is so much disingenuous criticism using the word woke. The word is so liberally applied to everything because there are so many online grifters who produce daily outrage content that are saying, this thing is woke, you should be angry, you should be upset. Tune in tomorrow for episode 4169 on why Star Wars is woke now and why you should hate it and be mad and angry and upset. There's so much of that going on. The ending of the story of the boy who cried wolf is that at the end there was a wolf out there, but because there were so many false claims of there being a wolf, the people didn't help him. That's what's happened with the word woke. It's what happened to the words racist and sexist a few years ago.
I think this is kind of true. Like, what I consider to be a woke piece of media is if it espouses very progressive values in a ham-fisted, poorly written way. Like, if it's really shallow and it doesn't seem to ring true, then yeah, I'm fine with people calling something like that woke. So for example, Catwoman in the new Batman movie being brown, I didn't really think that was very woke. But her saying this line,
all anyone cares about in this place are these white privileged assholes.
Now, this line alone doesn't make the entire film like some crazy woke thing, because it's one throwaway line, and it's laced with some like important dramatic irony. The fact she's unknowingly saying it to the most privileged person in the city, and it's also like an important confrontation for Bruce that his family is associated with a lot of the corruption in Gotham. The white part I could have done without. It is a bit of an eye roll moment, but that's kind of where my scale is. This is teetering on woke-ish almost. Now, obviously, I think I have very reasonable standards, but the Act Man is right. This boogeyman word has been thrown around way too liberally at times. And I think I can demonstrate this using boobs. Are boobs woke or anti-woke? Genuinely, I'm asking. Like, some conservative gaming critics seem to really decry the loss of big boobies and attractive women in games.
What happened to a masculine dude with a hot chick on his arm?
And media in general, to be honest, including, for some reason, children's media.
If you notice anything here, but that's a man.
But beyond that as well, and I mentioned this in my video on The Critical Drinker, some of these guys just do odd things, like celebrating Sydney Sweeney's jiggly bits as some sort of anti-woke symbol, as though the mere sight of hefty cleavage would send feminists into some sort of rage. They seem to really get off on that idea. Okay, now bear with me, it's ridiculous this is even a discussion, but for them, the loss of boobs is woke. Being hot is anti-woke. But then, women in games in general is woke, right? Like, that actually seems to be like where we're at now.
Do I have to play as a girl? Can I play as a guy?
This guy is like 38 years old and sleeps with cockroaches, by the way. If Lara Croft was created as a new IP today, would people call it woke because it's a woman? Or is it anti-woke because she's hot? And if so, wait, there's a whole other layer to this, and I'm really not sure how they reconcile this in their mind. They want more depictions of, hot, sexy women in media, but they only seem to celebrate and really want it in some instances, but not in others. Like I'm sure these guys lost their minds when WAP came out. Like, they would have hated it. Right? That's the devil's music. You're teaching young girls the wrong idea. I'm sure they hate OnlyFans, because selling your body is bad, and the destruction of your family, your moral core, or whatever. And then I realized, well, the same sort of paradox happens on the left, but in the opposite way. There is a strange prudishness among progressives at times. You hear complaints about women being sexualized too much in media, that it may lead to objectification, that kind of thing. But then they celebrate stuff like OnlyFans. But, and call me biased, I understand that left-wing perspective more. It may not initially make sense, but it kind of does if you think about it. Like with OnlyFans or female rappers or whatever, these people are choosing to express themselves or sell themselves in that way. Whereas in a lot of games, especially in the past, less so now, female characters are often framed as just like vapid eye candy for the dudes who play it. And I think there is something like tangibly and clearly different when someone is choosing to portray themselves that way. It's like the difference between being someone who's just really hot and sexy and a mannequin, I don't know if I'm just coping right now and what I just said was a massive cope, but intuitively I think there is a difference. Although I will say on both sides there is a hypocritical element to this, a paradoxical element to this. I just understand one of those sides a little bit better. So to answer the initial question, I think big boobies are anti-woke, but it doesn't make sense to me why. Maybe it's just a general opposition to whatever's perceived to be left-wing, you know? So if they're losing big boobies in games because feminists think it's objectifying, then that's woke and bad and they want to keep the big boobs. Or maybe they just want their cake and to eat it too. They want everyone to be whores except the women they date and their daughters. I don't know what sort of culture they expect to adhere to this dichotomy. Like, if you are one of these anti-woke people who hates that the boobies are going, please explain yourself to me. I really want to know.
I'm giving you a tiny example of a larger problem that everyone on the internet agrees is going on everywhere.
Okay,
right?
Everyone on the internet? Maybe in your bubble, buddy. There is no everyone on the internet anymore. We're all in little bubbles.
Now,
but
and you
the problem,
blind to it, and you just seem to turn your head the other way. And I'm saying that's what's annoying your audience, is that they're just like, yeah, Actman just denies all this stuff because he wants to hang out with leftists. And I'm sure you have a lot of leftist friends in the industry and all these homos, and you go to pride parades. And like, I get it, dude. No, seriously.
So the reason the Actman doesn't call out all this horrible woke shit is because he's paid off or he has homo friends or something. Can't just be that he doesn't care. Like, what are you meant to say to this? Like, these people are fundamentally poisoned. They see malicious machinations everywhere. It's why this dude has a video where he spends 10 minutes schizo rambling about BlackRock and the Jews. Like, it's gone to the point where geeks and gamers, when watching the trailer for the Fallout show, anytime any sort of minority figure appeared on screen, the dude would just yell, DEI, diversity.
Holy fuck at the diversity.
Why did you join the Brotherhood?
Oh my god, the diversity.
Look out at this wasteland.
Diversity.
Bro, this is unhinged. It's actually even funnier than you think. Like, the first 2 minutes of this trailer is white as snow. Not a single speck of brown can be seen. And then one black guy shows up and he loses it. I'm always surprised by just how much traction this anti-wokeness stuff still gets. Like, their points are so tired. I know they all cite Ripley from Alien to be like, look, that was done well, so actually we're not sexist. But I also know for sure that if that movie came out today, they would complain about it. They would complain about it just from seeing the trailer. She would be called a Mary Sue. Actually, Forsen had a pretty base take on all this.
But I think these people are full of shit too, though. Like, we just want to play good games, right? The equivalent of like all lives matter. Yeah, sure. But I mean, in reality, most of you are racist. And in reality, most of you have not played the game that you've seen a 1 minute trailer of with a fucking female protagonist, right? And you're still complaining. You have no idea if the game is good or not, but you're already complaining. So no, you don't just want to play good games.
And he's completely right. And you know what? I refuse to believe most of the content creators who've been complaining about this for a long time actually care. Like, it's impossible to care about this topic for a decade. At some point you move on, you grow up. But then I kind of wonder if the audience even really cares, or is this just some clown show? Like, do they actually think the quality of games is drastically dying and going down because there's some gay black women in them now? I don't know, just all this just feels so manufactured and tired.
Make video games great again.
Yeah, exactly. With recent flops like Conquered and Dustborn, games are prioritizing pronouns and things like that instead
That's
of
annoying.
actual gameplay. Yeah.
Who are these people? Who are you? Are you real? Like, just don't play those games. Go play Doom. Go play God of War.
So I was wondering, have you ever thought about making your own gaming studio and making an impact in the industry?
That would be a fun thing to do. It would be to start a gaming studio. Because I do actually intrinsically love video games. Yeah, I think just generally for content, the problem with like the sort of DEI and the woke mind virus is that it kills the art. You know, it's just like as soon as when you can see something that is forcibly imposed on the story and it's discordant, it destroys the art.
I still don't understand this forced concept. Every single game in history has had writers and developers making choices about what they should put in their games. If a writer wants to make a story happy or depressing, or about how war is bad, or about how communism is bad, or if they want gay people in it, these are all just choices they make. I don't know how you can tell when it's definitely forced and when it's not. Because if it's badly written and the ideas are half-baked, that doesn't necessarily make it forced. I don't call Duke Nukem forced straightness or forced masculinity. That's the character they wanted to make. If that's not your thing, that's fine. Play something else. There are so many games today. It is harder than ever to not find something that would appeal to you. It's funny because I made a video critiquing the Actman and his anti-SJW points like 4 or 5 years ago almost. And he seemed to receive my criticism positively, but it is funny to now hear him being called like a woke agenda, homo-loving, trans-communist or whatever. It's also funny how it used to be called political correctness. That was the term. That was the boogeyman. You don't want to be politically correct. Then it became SJWs. And now it's wokeness. It's just recycling the same talking points over and over. Anyway, yeah, just another foray into this topic, just fleshing out some thoughts about it. Alright, check out my second channel for more content. Sorry I've been sort of slacking off on uploading lately, but it is what it is. Alright, bye-bye.